I'm Greg Sherman reporting from the 2017 TASO football state officiating meetings here in Houston as everybody gets ready for the start of the new season. And while hundreds of officials came to Houston to read up on the rules as well as get all of their officiating gear ready, there is a potential problem that is brewing, and that is a potential shortage of officials. And if that does happen, some varsity teams may have to cancel their games or delay them because of a lack of officials.
We'll be out in the middle of the field with y'all all night long, so if you need anything, come find us, okay?
2017 marks the 98th season of Texas high school football, with more than 1,200 teams going after state championships. About 5,500 officials in 23 chapters across the state will also take the field. But issues with retaining the men and women in stripes, plus other issues, are causing TASO to come up short on officials. Bill Theodore is the president of TASO football and is in his 33rd year of officiating high school football.
Our problem is more of the retention, where we could get the members to come back for the second year, third year, and make a career out of this avocation. We're in the process of trying to identify why the members don't come back.
A full roster would be about 7,000 officials. Some of the retention issues can't be controlled, such as the oil field boom and aging, but others include officials being yelled at by coaches and parents, which has caused some to toss in their whistle for good.
It's been a bigger problem in recent years. We've worked in conjunction with the UIL and the Texas High School Coaches Association to get the message out to these coaches that they can't play the game without us. Berating them and talking down to them and yelling and screaming at them, they don't get paid enough to take that. And even if they were paid enough, they still shouldn't have to take that.
The number of schools is also expanding as new high schools open, and new feeder schools for those high schools mean more games at the grade school level. Theodore also pointed out that there is a big numbers gap between younger officials and older ones.
In our association, there are more football officials over the age of 60 than under the age of 30. And you have a mass exodus. What is that going to leave on the downside of that? We're looking for somebody to come in and take our place.
He says some schools have had to move game times and days around because of the shortage.
We do have some schools that on the varsity schedule, we have to get them to adjust from Friday going to a Thursday or Saturday because we can't cover it. There are also some schools at the sub-varsity level that we just tell them, we're sorry, we don't have the people to cover your games. We're at that threshold where we need these people coming in.
The problem is huge in some small chapters west of I-35. Darren Cox has been president of the Abilene football chapter for 10 years and an official for 32.
Ball start. Offense, number 77, 5 yards. Still first down.
He has worked 2 state championship games as a referee, including the famous 2013 Allen Pearland final, which had more than 54,000 fans. Cox says his chapter has felt the oil field boom taking away some officials, and some varsity games have had to be moved off Friday nights.
It's a hard thing to call a coach and say, guys, we don't have officials this week. We're going to have to get them out of Dallas or Fort Worth, and you're going to have to pay that extra mileage for you to bring those officials in just to cover your game. And we do that pretty much weekly.
His chapter has around 80 officials, with full capacity being around 125, and he says sometimes keeping officials around a long time has been the biggest problem.
Bringing in some new guys, sometimes the commitment level's not there for the younger folks that are out wanting to be an official. And then just the attitudes of some coaches that you run into, and we don't really have that huge problem in the Abilene area. We have great coaches in the Abilene area and out West Texas.
TASO does a lot of recruiting drives and even has a program where they go to colleges and high schools around the state to recruit current and former players and recent graduates looking to stay in the game and try to get them into officiating. Theodore says that if trends continue and the older officials retire and are not replaced, games could have to be canceled or played without officials.
I don't think it's critical yet, but I think that we're on the bubble to where if we don't get these younger ones coming in sooner than later, I think that eventually we will see something like that.
If you'll go out and officiate one game or go out and do a scrimmage and just sit out there or walk around with you on the field, you're hooked.
While there are several reasons why there is a shortage of officials, there is one good reason why, and that's because the NFL just hired 2 TASO alums as on-field officials for the 2017 season. Brad Rogers, who spent 20 years in the Lubbock chapter, was hired as a field judge for the upcoming season. Also hires a field judge, Merle Robinson, out of the San Antonio chapter. He was there the previous 2 seasons. Robinson has since moved to Arizona, but he'll be on Carl Cheffers' crew this year. Carl Cheffers worked Super Bowl 51 right here in Houston. Reporting from Houston, I'm Greg Sherman.